Hello everybody, Eric, HWC Automotive, with another episode of You Never Know, be working on next. This car we've got a few videos on, belongs to Bill down at Mays Valley. If you've never been to Mays Valley, they're down on 619 just outside of Hartville, heading towards Marlboro. Strongly suggest. They have a Thursday car show. They had one last Thursday, about 200 and some odd cars showed up, and it's just a great atmosphere, great place to eat, and good beer and wine, and just an awesome place to be. So if you've never been down there, go check it out in Mays Valley there on 619. What we got going on here is trying to get a Dakota gauge package or Dakota system working on this car. If you follow this vehicle, it has a Phytech LS fuel injection system. It's got Rytec air ride. We put Wheelwood brakes on all four corners. And Bill was given a little misinformation that the Dakota gauges would work with the Phytech. Unfortunately, it does not. So we have to go through and just kind of manually wire it up and do a few things extra to make this system work. Other fuel injection systems, let's say if it was Holley or Edelbrock, there is one communication wire that you can plug into the box, plug into the fuel injection, get all your telemetry for all your gauges, and we'll scroll down here. You can see here's the gauges installed and make it all work. But unfortunately not on this one. So we've actually had to cut into the factory harness a little bit to make some of the features work, and I've got a little cheat sheet. So if anybody here has, this is a 65 Impala. I'm sure there's a few GMs that run the same style dashboard harness. So I've got a cheat sheet here, and if you have to cut into the harness, wiring is coming out of the plug that goes into the dash wiring. I got it here, like your black and blue is your left turn signal, straight blue is right turn signal. We have a black and tan, that's your brake warning light. If your parking brake is on or have a problem in the system. A gray wire, which you'll see is one wire and branches off to like 10 different bulbs. That's your dashboard illumination. We have a black and red, that's your switched power. Now if you're looking at the back of your factory gauges and harness, the black and red will feed into like the temp gauge, the fuel level gauge, also go into the amp gauge, and then it feeds into the brake light switch. So that's your switched power. Straight brown wire is off of the fuel sending unit for your fuel gauge. So you'll need that to run your fuel gauge. And then we have a black and green. That's your high beam indicator. That kicks on when you have your high beams on. Now the Dakota system has, you can see right there, options for all those to be wired in and make them work on the Dakotas, on the gauges. So that's where I'm at. And then I have a feed coming in from the Phytech for tachometer. The one thing that we're going to have to do, and a little issues with, is the oil pressure and temperature sending unit. We're going to try to piggyback those gauges before the Phytech to get a signal for the Dakota, and I'm hoping that it works okay. Everything says it should, but that's the little hiccup that we have, is we're gonna have to wire those up. Now if you're putting this gauges into a factory engine Impala or Chevy, you're wiring it pretty much the same way. The kit comes with new sensors that have the right resistance, the right ohms. So you just change the sensors out on your engine bay. You can run new wiring, or you can attempt to use the original wiring off of the harness. There are a couple extra wires here that I taped up that are the signal for, let's say, temperature gauge and amps. But oil pressure, you're going to have to run a sending unit into the engine, because on this vehicle, particular one, it actually had a manual oil pressure gauge, which basically was just a hose coming back to the gauge. Used a little bit of oil pressure coming through the hose to make the gauge move. So you will have to put a sending unit on the engine if you're running the factory engine to make the Dakota work. Dakota doesn't have an input for the manual oil pressure gauge. So that's where we're at on this. We're getting to the point of running the wire and just doing some testing, see how everything works, and then get this project buttoned up. It's been here a while. We've had a lot of hiccups. Things have been a big hectic in the shop. We hope to button this thing up soon and get it back on the road for car show season. So please like, subscribe, keep watching us, because you never know what we'll be working on next, and we will talk to you later. Bye.